Oh God, yes indeed. Degreelessness is back, kids. Don't worry, the Rona ain't keeping us down. Thanks for chilling with us tonight. I'm your humble host, 21st Century Digital Boy, the people's champion, study and brave culture critic, your good buddy in the mix, and trusted member of the media, Shanghai Pete. So today, as seems obvious, we're gonna need to talk about the Rona. I know this isn't the kind of thing anyone wants to get into, but I'm just kidding. Who gives a fuck what I have to say about that? No, the real news today is, oh my God, guys, PS5 specs. It's got a CPU and a graphics card and some RAM and an SSD. Incredible, right? Truly groundbreaking. There's never been a console or entertainment product quite like it. Hate to say I told you so, guys. Hate to be that guy. Well, let's be honest, I don't really hate to be that guy. I kind of like being that guy. But I told you so. All I was asking for is that you A, show it to me for fuck's sake, and B, have actual backwards compatibility. Not a super high bar, all things considered, and yet Sony couldn't even hit one of those. I'm not going to do a whole breakdown of exactly what the specs are and specifically how they compare to the Xbox for a few reasons. One, because they're pretty much exactly the same, give or take a teraflop or two, though I will say that the SSD not even being a full terabyte is a goddamn disgrace, Sony. And secondly, because I don't want to bore the piss out of everybody with a math lecture. And lastly, because I simply don't care that much. I'm sorry to say, though, not that I'm surprised, they're just gaming PCs. That's it. There's nothing new, interesting, or different here. These consoles will play games in 4K on decent settings, and that's about it. Sure, for anyone that doesn't have a gaming PC, that's pretty cool. But don't ask me to be excited about it, alright? I'll buy them to play first-party titles that won't come to PC, but that's it. They're basic as fuck. They're not going to do anything that a PC doesn't do. They're not going to do anything you haven't seen before. They don't have some amazing tricks up their sleeve that are going to spur on the creation of some amazing new worlds and genres and all that bullshit that they've been spewing before.
Sure.
No, they're just fucking gaming PCs, guys. All right, they got decent specs. That's about it. And also, in case anyone was still babbling about how these somehow have some advantage to PCs because you don't need to upgrade them, I got some bad news for you, Chief. They're definitely going to ask you to buy a PS5 Pro or an Xbox Pro later on. They did it with the current generation. They're going to do it again.
I was nearly in tears.
Oh, and also, I do need to mention that the SSD sizes that come with these are absolutely absurd. A single terabyte is laughable. Yes, I know they need them to keep costs down, but really, come on, G. 1 terabyte? I have just a little under 10 terabytes total storage in my computer, and it's almost all full. People are gonna fill these motherfuckers up almost instantaneously. Although, at least some credit does go to Sony for allowing you to just stick an NVMe expansion card in there, so I guess that's great. But I don't know. I mean, like, whatever. You guys could probably hear it. I'm actually boring myself talking about this. Sure, we could go into the nuances of, how Sony has some sort of compressed SATA bus or whatever, trying to make load times a little bit faster, but I mean, give me a fucking break. No one's gonna notice that shit. The PS5 and the Xbox Series X are gonna be, for the most part, identical. Everybody knows that. The only difference is going to be, well, the only difference that there ever has been in consoles for the past 5 years or so. What first-party games are on there? That's it. The only thing we really need to know about the hardware is it up to spec for modern times? Is it passable? Will it do the job? And the answer to that question for both of these new systems is, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's a decent graphics card, it's a decent CPU, and enough of the right type of RAM. That's it. There's nothing really more to say. I mean, let's be honest. What more was anyone really expecting, despite the grandiose language of press releases from Microsoft and Sony? What were you really expecting? You were probably expecting 4K, decent settings, some faster load times, right? And that's what we're getting. End of story. I don't think there's anything else really to talk about. And I guess I'm gonna have to add it right here at the end, as I apparently need to do for every single video where I talk about these new consoles. Although I don't really know why I bother, because it doesn't change anybody's opinion, but I'll do it anyway. The purpose of these videos talking about the new consoles and their specs is not to just hate on them. I don't care enough to hate on them. I don't give a shit. The point is, and has always been and will always be, for me to tell you guys the truth, for me to be honest about shit. Strip away all the hyperbolic language of press releases and ads and influencer bought propaganda and bullshit, and just tell you what the fuck is actually going on. And when it comes to these new consoles, what the fuck is actually going on is that they're basic as fuck, okay? It has nothing to do with the fact that I personally prefer PCs. It's just what it is. It's the reality. They are basic. If you want, I could do a whole video where I go down every single spec and compare it to the specs in my PC and scientifically break down by the numbers why they're not impressive. But I don't think anybody's gonna care about that, and I don't think it's necessary. If these consoles were doing something truly groundbreaking and amazing, I would be the first to gush about it and speak their praises unto the heavens. But they're not. They're boring. They're just a smaller form factor PC containing hardware that's around the higher end for current times. They're not even doing anything cool like backwards compatibility, or should I say full backwards compatibility. And now that I think about it, that's really all that they needed to do to impress me. Sony, just give me a machine where I can take a disc from any PlayStation of any era, put that shit in there, and the motherfucker will play. If you did that, that alone would be enough for me to be excited, but you couldn't even manage that, could you? No. Instead, we get a rambling, meandering fucking lecture from Mark Cerny where you don't even show the goddamn console. Motherfuck. I mean, think about it. Other than the console's UI, the artwork on the game cases, and maybe some slightly faster load times, is anyone gonna notice that you're playing on a PS5 and not a PS4? That there's a different rectangular black chunk of plastic under the TV than there was earlier? I don't think so. And that is the whole point. Am I gonna buy one just to play the first party titles? Yes, of course. I've always said that. I will always do that. But don't ask me to be fucking excited about this shit. Please. It's just an excuse for you to get me and other customers to give you more money. And I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna throw a goddamn party for that. And with that being said, it's time for the outro. Thanks for joining us tonight. I know it's not a very riveting episode, but given what's going on in the world, news cycles for pretty much everything have kind of ground to a halt. So that's about all I have to say about that. I hope you, your friends, family, you're all staying safe, healthy. Remember that we love you today. We love you all the way. And never fear, Degree Listeners will be back as soon as possible to keep you and yours company during these trying times. Make sure that you don't bother commenting, downvote the video, and never subscribe because it's the end of the world as we know it. But well, I feel fine.